The firefighters are doing their very, very best. I promise you that. And also the air assets are a huge, huge thing that we're utilizing right now that'll help Palisades.
And among those critical air assets being used to battle the raging wildfires in Los Angeles is a pair of water bombing planes from Canada, specially equipped to scoop up water from the ocean. You can see it here, gathering water from the Pacific near Will Rogers State Beach, then eventually dumping that salt water onto the growing inferno. This proved an especially valuable firefighting tool, particularly with the water pressure issues in Pacific Palisades, with fire hydrants there tapped out.
In many brush fires, we run out of water, and we anticipate that because of the supply demand. There's so many firefighters tapping into a limited supply of water.
But the ocean could seemingly provide a nearly unlimited supply of water. So why do firefighters tend not to use ocean water in fighting wildfires? Experts say that fresh water is preferred over the ocean's salt water because, according to scientists, fresh water has a higher cooling capacity compared to salt water, meaning it's better at absorbing heat and putting out fires. Also, salt water corrodes firefighting aircraft and other equipment, including pumps and hoses, more quickly than fresh water, according to technology.org. Dumping massive amounts of salt water also has environmental consequences. Salt water remains in the soil after the water evaporates, potentially hurting plant life and altering the soil's chemistry. But in a dire situation where adequate supplies of fresh water aren't available, tough choices must be made.
This spot where they're at now is perfect for them because we're right next to the ocean. It's a little hard for them to pick up when the ocean's rough, but so far it's not too bad. You don't see any big white caps out there, so if they're able to go out and return quickly, where all those other VLATs and other ones dropping Phoschuck, they have a long return time. They got to go all the way to an airport somewhere and be reloaded and then fly back out here, where these guys are making great work. They're just constantly, nonstop since I got here.
They've made, I don't know,
hundreds of drops already.
Yeah, wow.
And it's, you could probably see him here as he comes down, and he'll just drag on the ocean.
Yep,
and
picking up all that water.
I want to say they pick up over 3,000 gallons, I believe.
It's amazing what they're doing and the work that they're doing so quickly to battle this blaze. All right, Tony, thank you so much. Please stand by, because right now we are going
let's just watch this for a moment, though, because this is pretty incredible how quickly all that water was gathered, right? And they're going to just go right back up that hill.
Yeah, and the precision and the experience that these pilots, these firefighter pilots have, it's really incredible what conditions they're fighting against right now. They're able to fly despite the wind gusts up at that high elevation, nearing 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So this is really incredible work that they're doing. I'm so grateful for them to be here right now.
Let's watch this action. The logistics of the location, really ideal, if you could even say that.
Yeah.
Okay. What happened here? Over to the east as well, but whether they have already evacuated in the last couple of hours or whether they have whether they're just now getting the word, I can't tell you. But there does not seem to be a whole lot of car traffic. Protecting those structures should be a little bit easier because you're going to have the help of all of these helicopters dropping water and preventing that fire and any flare-ups that come ahead of it. For the last several days, people have been running for their lives for a fire where the wind is blowing in their direction. That's not happening right now. Now the fire is creeping in certain directions.
These are the airplanes picking up the water. I've never seen in my life. Those are the planes picking up the water. That's amazing.
FAA is investigating a mid-air collision that happened between an aircraft, a key aircraft obviously used in fighting the Palisades fire, and a drone that shouldn't have been where it was. It was flying in restricted airspace. And as a result, one of these, it's one of two so-called Super Scooper planes, has been taken out of commission for repairs. These are planes that are so essential in this fight. They can scoop up more than 1,500 gallons of ocean water and drop it on active fires.
And they work with almost surgical accuracy. CNN's Pete Montine joins us now. Pete, what exactly happened here?
Well, to put it simply, this was pretty brazen and could have been a whole heck of a lot worse. The restricted airspace has been in place over the LA fire since Tuesday, a safe space for aerial firefighting by effectively creating a no-fly zone for other aircraft. And now the FAA wants to know how a drone ended up in there. It was hit by one of the air tankers helping out from Canada, a Canadair CL-415, better known as the Super Scooper, that has been vital to this air attack.
Flying a drone in the fire traffic area is not only dangerous, but it's illegal. We do have our federal partners behind the scenes are going to be implementing procedures to be able to follow drones in our two large fire areas, and they will be able to identify who the operator of that drone is. The most important thing to know is that if you fly a drone at one of these brush fires, all aerial operations will be shut down. And we certainly don't want to have that happen.
Here they fly out to the Pacific Ocean, load up on about 1,500 gallons of water, then swoop back in and drop that water on their target fire. This is the exact plane in question, known as Quebec 1. And these are the photos from the Los Angeles Fire Department. You can see the hole in the leading edge of the wing there. That is where the drone apparently impacted this plane. The latest update from the Los Angeles Fire Department says the plane remains out of service right now. And I want you to listen now to police who say the search is on to find out who was operating that drone in restricted airspace. The good news, the pilots did a good job of getting that plane back on the ground safely. Nobody was hurt. Federal Aviation Administration says this: the FAA treats these violations seriously and immediately considers swift enforcement action for these offenses. It is a federal crime to interfere with fighting of a wildfire. You can face up to 12 months in prison, and the FAA can also impose a civil fine of $75,000. The LAFD says for a time this caused the airspace over the fires to be cleared out of an abundance of caution, so all the aircraft on the wildfire had to be grounded, and the FAA says that slows the fire response and could cost lives. Drones are really this emerging hazard right now, and we have seen it interfere with commercial air travel. We've seen it interfere with NFL football games. Now we've seen it interfere with a wildfire, and the FAA really not joking around with its punishment here.
Yeah, this is so terrible to see this happen. When can that plane get back up in the air?
It seems like it should be a relatively easy fix. It looks mostly like just sheet metal, maybe superficial to me. So hopefully they'll be able to get it back up in the air soon. More and more help is arriving all the time. And the good news is California is pretty well equipped to do this. And the crews, these Canadian crews who often help out with wildfires like this from British Columbia and Quebec, they're so experienced with the wildfires there. They really know what they're doing, and they can drop water right on the target. It's almost like watching a great sports game when they really nail it. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is impressive work, and so silly for somebody to be up there in the air when they don't need to be when these delicate operations are taking place. Pete Montine, thanks so much for the update.